the pain in my chest was so bad that I literally had to, every single day, and multiple times during those days, I literally had to take my hands and I had to put my hands right here and I had to spread this portion apart to keep my heart from hurting. And I had to do that multiple times, and I knew that the heart attack that was going to lay me down was very close. And so I didn't have much time. I couldn't move, so I knew I couldn't exercise. I couldn't go to the store properly. I mean, I was in trouble. I was in big trouble. So I was on the internet. This was on Sunday, 2010, November 7th, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And what I was doing is I was looking for the answer on the internet, because I didn't have any other method of looking for the answer. And I came across one man's website, and this man stood in front of his camper with a table and fruits and vegetables and a juicer. And he explained on the video how to heal your body with fruits and vegetables and a blender and a juicer. And that spoke to me. That message spoke to me because of its simplicity and what it said. And I had never tried that. I had tried multiple things and it didn't work. I was getting worse and worse. And that man's name is Dan McDonald. But in the same instance, the other side of my brain said, wait a minute, hold the phone. This guy's 110 pounds soaking wet. And I said, okay. But then I started looking at some other videos, and I saw some other people that he had. And they might not have been following what he said, but they had done the same thing on their own. And it was all about raw fruits and vegetables, eating salads, having fruit, grapes, melons, just having green juice, and they had saved their life. And one of those people that I was following was Dave, the raw food truck driver. And so now that made sense to me. That was huge. That made a lot of sense to me, because now I see a person that has some health issues like I had, and that he was healing his body and it was working. So here's what I did. I got on that internet and I sent an emergency email to Dan McDonald. Yeah. Emergency. And I literally said, I have an emergency, I'm dying.
Not on my watch, son.
So it was amazing. It was within 15 minutes. He had seen the email. I left my phone number, and I was on the phone with Dan McDonald. And I told him my problems. And calmly, he said, there's not a problem. You have a problem. He says, here's what you need to do. And I had my pen and my paper ready, and I was writing everything down. But I only got about this far down the sheet, because he says, here's what you eat, here's what you drink, here's when you do it. I said, that's it? You know, I had like a piece of paper that big. And I said, that's it? He says, yes, that's it. And he says, I want you to document everything you do so that your message and your journey can be put out there for everyone else. We got off the phone after about an hour and a half. And here's how I started my journey. This is very, very important. Is I went to the kitchen and I took the large black plastic bags and I took everything from the kitchen and I threw it in those bags. That's right. Everything. And I took that food and oils and flours and breads and yogurts and everything. and I went to the dump, and it was very healing for me to push it off the end and push it into the dump. And then I drove to the store, and I bought organic fruits and organic vegetables, and that's how I healed my body. But I owe everything to Dan McDonald, because he is the messenger. He is the man that brought me back from death. Thank you, Dan. Thank you so much. So, during the journey, I had other consultations with Dan, and so that we could regroup and switch my journey up. He instructed me to, after a period of time, have a consultation with Dr. Robert Morris. And I had a consultation with Dr. Robert Morris, and he looked at the toxification and the inflammation that was in my body, and he says, we need to start you on some very high-end herbs. And so that's what I did, is I went on the Dr. Robert Morris detoxification plan. And it took me to the next level, right to the next level. After I did that for a period of time, the next message was for me to go to a location and do a complete water healing. So I went to the True North Health Center in Santa Rosa, and I did 21 days on nothing but water, and I lost 57 pounds. But there's something else that's a lot more important than the poundage. What it did is it flushed my cells, and I was allowed to reset my body. And I knew it, I felt it. I felt it immediately as soon as I left, that my body was reset. My palate and the rest of my body was completely reset. And it was amazing to do that, because that again took me even more to the next level. And so after that point, the message was to go on juice and do a juice feast. And so at that point in my journey, I was making some pretty strong juices. Very little fruit, and mostly dark leafy greens. And that was healing my body. And I did 69 days on juice. Wow. After that point, I came off the juice and went back onto food. And I feel fantastic. I just cannot tell you how I feel. And I am just pounds away from 200-pound loss in 1 year. Thank you, dear. Thank you so much. My journey does not stop here. My journey has just begun. And what I did is, I'm so strong, I feel so strong about this message and this journey, is that I have formed Raw Food for My Life. And Raw Food for My Life does exactly what it says, is that this is raw food that I am going to heal my life with, and then I am going to take this message and I'm going to pass it on to the world with Raw Food for My Life. I have also started my health coaching classes so that I can become a health coach and teach others, and so that they will also be able to heal their bodies. I'm also going to be a detox specialist with Dr. Robert Morris, And with those two items in my arsenal, along with the teachings of the rest of my raw food community, I will be able to touch a lot of people and save a lot of lives. And that is my goal. So now you've heard my story, and that's a fantastic thing. And I want to thank you all for supporting me and coming out and enjoying this beautiful night. And thank you all so much. Thank you very much. Jackie? Dan, can you come up and talk, please?
Of course. Huh. What I do. Gotta have cameras on me though. There's no red light, I don't know what to say. No problem.
Thank you very much. You're a good teacher, you're a good brother, and I love you.
Likewise, my friend. It's pure love.
It is. Thank you so much.
It's pure love. I don't want to take any credit for nothing. Maybe I'll take credit for being an antenna to something so wonderful. It's like a light. A lightless light. You can't see it, you can't explain it, you can't understand it with your mind, but for some reason, if you know it's there. We all use words, divine, God. And the more that you tap into that, you're just a beacon. And the more that you keep your mind on the holy light and just being love for everybody, that's like, you forget about like getting stuff and you know, of course there's some scars in the mind, but you pretty much see that being a light and giving your gift, you know, whatever it is. I just so happen to really, really love fruits and vegetables, you know. It's not about being right or trying to convince anyone of anything. I have zero, you know, energy to want to change anything about this world. I'm not a go save everyone and fix the world up kind of thing. The world is perfect. The bees are buzzing. The thing that's so great about this world is that, you know, God is always there. I call it that. You guys are my friends. So I'll speak a little more plainly than I do on the YouTubes as a professional. My clown wig and all that. But it should be fun. And fruits and vegetables, I mean, they're the coolest thing that there is. There's nothing more cool than persimmons, you know? Yeah. Like they're little caramel bombs, you know what I mean? You eat like 4 of those and you just go for a walk. And you're alive. It's life. It's raw food for my life. I have, like, you know, I just want to give the heart away. You know, it's becoming more and more profound. I've spent the last month just eating nothing but pure fruits and green juices with no fat, no salt, no spices, and just taming my senses. Really seeing how those simple, simple foods, one meal in the belly at a time, and a meditation in the sun. Focusing on wherever it is that you focus on. And just allowing that light and your conscious contact with that light to grow. And then you don't even have to do anything. It works you. You're walking through the Walmart and it just tells you to turn left and you go there and you're going, okay, what the hell's going on? And then somebody with a wheelchair pulls up and you're like, okay. And then, you know, she's like, do you juice? You're in the juicer section. And I'm like, oh, okay, here's why. Here's why this thing, the light, moved me over to this lady. We have a half-hour conversation. She'll probably heal up her legs and her whole body. Maybe. Some people get stoked on the videos. I love the videos. most importantly, what I've learned in the last few months, mostly through study of the higher teachings, is that to be a servant, there's nothing else that you could possibly want. The miracles that come, believe me when I tell you this, the miracles that come are unbelievable in your consciousness, but also in the manifest world as well. Effortlessly, all your problems are handled. The more you can release it. The best way to sum it up is that I'm just like, I wake up in the morning, I start chanting, I get on my knees, I pray, I go into the room, I meditate, and all day I'll just think about the Lord of life. I'm not trying to get religious, it's just happening. And I want to share that message. Richard, they let me stay in their house for a month where I got to be alone and really get to know myself and laugh at myself for how silly I am, you know? And if I could give advice beyond the raw food, it would be to fall in love with yourself. That's the hardest and the best thing you could do, to accept yourself. Because I like say as a joke, you know, hey, if you got a problem with me, you talk to God, because that's what made me exactly the way I am, you know? And I'm really working on self-acceptance. That's a part of the next part of the message. I'm going to go to high schools and talk to kids and pump up the fruits and the veg. That's like my smoke screen. And of course, I won't talk like this to all groups, obviously. I'll keep it way toned down. And I have no problem with it. I'm not trying to change anyone or impress anyone with my brilliance. But I believe that for me, well, it's very minimal, eh? But it's a light. It's a light. It doesn't matter if you're dumb, if you're slow like me. Just your heart, as long as you remember, like my water bottle. I never drink water anymore without programming that water with something. This particular water bottle says Divine Love. Just to remind myself, but also to program the cells of my body to be that. If you want to save the world, save yourself. Be yourself with the capital S, which is an eternal light, which is, you're already enlightened. You just, your mind has all these things that block that awareness. So really, again, it's like I love awareness. That's what I've been doing. That's my advice to everyone who wants to get healthy. Just be aware. If you're eating the whole cashew coconut cheesecake, don't judge yourself while you're doing it. Just take this silent witness awareness and watch yourself do it. And, you know, you'll see that one part of your brain will be like, I hate myself for doing this. Why do I do this every night? But there's that other side of you too that loves it. It's love. You're loving yourself with the coconut cashew cheesecake. And so if we can become aware of both of those sides and really, really take this life very, very, very lightly. You know? Very lightly. We're all the same. We all, you know, wake up with bags under our eyes, man. We all have hard days. Everybody goes through the same thing. Love and compassion, I hope, will continue to grow inside of me, and then I want to share those things. I like to share the divine qualities, and I want to thank you guys for letting me share those things, because really what it is it's me reminding myself for the lower man to be, you know, overtaken by the higher man, to have that choice, to see that I'm the one that put me here, and now I have these choices I can make. And then I see that, wow, I've made these raw food choices, I've made these choices to love, I've made these choices to watch a spiritual video instead of something else, and go to bed and read a spiritual book instead of some other thing I could do. Sometimes just to say no to a meal and go to bed on an empty stomach to wake up and have a much better meditation. All these little choices that you make. And love makes it possible, you know. So I will be speaking out much more when I get a chance on love. I think that for me, that's just, because then it's easier to make those choices. The heaviness that comes from overeating, even with all of us raw fooders, you know what I mean? we just eat too much, and then we try to meditate, or then we try to... So it's just like going right down the line. And when you have that love, you won't want to snuff it out with too much food. When you eat too much food, that energy, you know, that's flowing through all your chakras, kind of goes down into the stomach, and you're like, ooh, that ain't right. So you want to keep getting cleaned up, keep getting more efficient, and do all good things with your diet and with your heart, and learning to focus the mind and detoxify the mind. I'm going to spend the next year detoxifying myself. And people can give you a hard time, oh, you've been raw for 12 years, aren't you detoxed yet? Well, you don't know how many drugs I did, you know? And I see, as you get healthier and healthier, you see, oh, there's another level. Just like Bill said, he's already lost 200 pounds, but he's just getting started. I've been raw for almost 12 years, and I'm just getting started. For the last month of eating nothing but fruits and vegetables, I'm starting to see what the body really thrives on, and it is simplicity. For the mind. Those simple meals, you know? And just really clean blood. So, you know, you all know me. I could go forever. But I just want you all to know that I hope that you all will pray for me, you know? Because I think that I've been put in a nice position. I want to do very, very well and honor you guys. And hopefully, you know, because I'm cool with the kids, and I'm hip, and I got my slang, I got my clown wig, and I think I can make the fruits and vegetables cool. And that's what I want to do. I want to make the fruits and vegetables cool, and when I get in more sophisticated groups like this, hopefully I'll be able to spend more time talking about the love, which really is my favorite thing. It's just love. And then there's this, everything else is just blank. Love is like a light. And then I don't think that really much else needs to be thought of. Everything sort of happens spontaneously. So I've been spending each day just with my mind on God and my heart. And I know I'm about to jump back into the world again and be moving around. So hopefully what I've learned in your guys' house for the last month will stick with me to have a more regular spiritual practice, if that's possible, please, you know. But if not, this is my last thing I'll say, in that I gave a little example earlier tonight about in all this life, you know, to be like a palm tree, you know what I'm saying? Like really rooted in with your intentions, to be a good person, to make this world a better place by what you are. So you root in with your intentions. But when the shiznit hits the fizzan, and the winds are blowing like 150, and everyone's giving you a hard time, why you gotta eat that rabbit food and make me feel like a big fat ass? You know? You just... flexible. Those palm trees will bend all the way to the ground. They will touch the ground, and when the storm is over, they will bounce back. But if we're like the oak, and we are rigid, the oak says, you're a wimp. Look at how skinny you are. But the palm tree says, but I am flexible, and I am well rooted. The oak tree will break, but the palm tree will bend. So, be a yang master. Do not let anything or anyone, anywhere, at any time get in the way of you being you. And at the same time, be infinitely loving, totally flexible. You don't have to change anyone, fix anyone. Be the love for them. And trust me, my family, they all call me now. My dad says, a day without juice, I feel like I don't even have my vitamins. After all these years, because I never forced it, well, maybe in the beginning. But then I learned, okay, and then now they see, this guy's legit. He's getting younger, and in 1 week, okay, then I'll shut up. In 1 week, both my father, my mother, and my grandmother said, there's something about you that has changed. You're totally different than you've ever been. When you hear that from your grandma, and your mom, and your father, the people that changed your poopy butt, you just say, Lord, thank you, because this is what you want. You want to change people by being totally in. You're not changing for them. You're not changing for this world. You're not going to go back to some crazy idea of stuff that doesn't work. Because you know it don't work, it never did work, and it's never going to work because nature's laws are immutable. And then you just flex with everybody, and you make them their chicken stir fry and you make it with love. You try to not burn up the fat too much, but you make it like they want it. You make it with love, and you don't give them a hard time, you don't preach. And you go make your juice, and you say, oh, I'm just going to have juice, I'm not that hungry, I love you guys, thank you. Is the stir fry good? Yes, Daddy, thank you. You know? And that's that. Can you dig it?
Yeah.
Now, did you hear that? Did you hear the message? That's what I'm talking about. And so, picture that. Now, he didn't go to that level with me, obviously, on November 7, 2010. It had blown me right off the phone. But I'm telling you that the message was strong just like that, and it penetrated my soul. And his message is what made it so I could heal my body. Thank you. Thank you.
Peace, YouTubers.
We have a food announcement. That's huge.